So I'd say in terms of a specific answer, what it looks like, I say it depends. And it depends based upon your teacher, right? With the teacher. So first of all, does the teacher in the math classroom, does the teacher have a strong understanding of the social and political context around math, right? Meaning math has a history. Math has a cultural and social history in terms of who had access to math, who gets to engage in math, how do we talk about math? So for example, I think if we asked most folks, if you asked students in a classroom, who's better at math? They would give you an answer. And it would be a fairly consistent answer, right? That our U.S. education system has a history with math. Does the teacher understand that history? Because when the math teacher, or the teacher who's teaching math, is in the classroom, that history is very alive in the classroom about how we've taught math, how we talk about math, what we believe about math. Does the teacher have an understanding of that social and political context around math? And we hear it often when we talk about students will say, or teachers will say to students, if you're going to be an engineer, you need to have a lot of math. If you want to think about being an astronaut, you need to have a lot of math. And then we look at who's in those fields of math, right? Those have historically always been primarily male fields, white male fields, right? So in the classroom, as the math teacher is there, it's critical that the math teacher understand that in our history and our relationship with math, that it has primarily been a field for white male students. If the teacher doesn't understand that, then the teacher loses an awareness of what's happening with the students in the classroom, because the students know that too. Like, the students have been sitting in that same social and cultural context around math. So does the teacher know that? So if the teacher, let's assume the teacher sort of has that history, what are the teacher's beliefs about math? What biases or beliefs or values does the teacher have around math content? Does the teacher believe that every student in the class, male and female, whatever their race or ethnicity may be, do they truly believe that we can all access math, can engage in math, and find relevance in our lives around math? So what does the teacher believe? The other piece is, does the teacher know what the students believe? Right? The teacher needs, and this goes back to what we all know is critical, and that's the relationship that a teacher has with students. It is likely, or more likely, that if a teacher has a good relationship with their students, they'll have a sense of what their students are thinking about being in the class. Who's comfortable being in the math class? Who's not comfortable being in the math class? Who walks in prepared every day because they've had people in their lives who've engaged with math and have taught them how to talk about and engage with math? Who's the student that walks in the classroom that may have not had anyone in their life engaging in math? And does the teacher still believe that both of those students can still engage in math in a very rich way? So the teacher needs to know their students and needs to know how their students are thinking and feeling and believing about being in the context of that class. Following that is, does the teacher know what the students already know? Right? Students walk into the classroom with knowledge already. And so a teacher needs to know, what do my students already know? That becomes critical, all of those pieces become critical into how the teacher decides to construct their lessons and to teach in the classroom. Once a teacher knows that, is the teacher developing a curriculum? Has the teacher developed a curriculum that is connected to what students already know? How is the teacher connecting the curriculum in a rich way to what students are already bringing, right? So a very strength-based approach. If as a teacher, the teacher's assuming every student in this class is bringing some knowledge about math, And I need to connect my curriculum to what it is they know about math already. So then if the teacher's making those connections to the students, then in the implementation, is the teacher providing very real and authentic opportunities for students to engage in math instruction in and out of the classroom in ways that hold meaning for them, that connect to their lives in a very rich way, right? That the math content, math curriculum, can't just sit in the context of a classroom, right? When we're teaching students, the critical piece is how do we connect it to what's important in their lives, to their families, to their hopes, to their dreams, to what they think about doing. Mm-hmm. That means that a teacher needs to have relationship. That means that a teacher needs to have all of these things we just talked about, right? Knowledge of the larger social political context, knowledge of their own biases, beliefs, and values, knowledge of their students, and a knowledge of how to connect the curriculum to what their students already know, and then how to have authentic and real engagements in terms of math instruction.